safely to shore. But it's the other boat that sinks, captured on video moments before it capsizes.
It's going under.
We have a report of a duck that has sank completely. They have lost sight of it.
Anybody that can read me, I need a rope on the bow.
Workers on the nearby showboat scrambled to help emergency crews get the 31 passengers out of the water. First responders can be seen giving first aid to children. Rescue boats and dive teams searched late into the night for survivors.
What a storm today on the table, Ron.
Video shows the power of the storm as it hit the lake. Around the time the boat sank, wind gusts of 63 miles per hour were recorded nearby.
I believe it was caused by the weather, yes.
Stone County Sheriff Doug Rader says the search for survivors is not over.
And we do have some people still missing. It's going to be a challenging night and tomorrow.
In that statement, the company that owns Ride the Ducks Branson, Ripley Entertainment, says, quote, "Our priorities are the families and our employees right now." The boat remains at the bottom of the lake. Emery?
Benton Blandon, thank you so much. Well, earlier, Jim Pattison Jr., the president of Ripley Entertainment, which owns Ride the Ducks, spoke to CBS This Morning by phone. Here's a bit of what he had to say about the accident.
Now, can you tell us, what are you hearing from your team about what went wrong?
Well, we don't know that. First of all, it is absolutely devastating, and our hearts and prayers go out to everyone that's been affected. And this business has been operating for 47 years, and we've never had an incident like this or anything close to it. To the best of our knowledge, and we don't have a lot of information right now, but there was it was a fast-moving storm, came out of basically nowhere is sort of the verbal analysis I've got.
Should the boat have been on the water, Mr. Pattison? Weren't the weather reports calling for bad weather?
Well, it didn't show that. It was apparently it was moving at a higher rate of speed from what I know, and I don't have all the details. But to answer your question, no, it shouldn't have been in the water if what happened happened.
Mr. Pattison, it's John Dickerson here. Does the boat have life jackets on it?
Yes.
And are the passengers required to wear them?
No, under law they're not required to wear them, and usually the lake is very placid, and it's not a long tour. They go in and kind of around an island and back. And we'd had other boats in the water earlier, and it had been a very sort of calm experience up until this came very suddenly.
If the boat shouldn't have been on the water, is this the kind of thing for which the pilots or captains of the boats train and are prepared for this kind of an event?
Well, absolutely, and again, 47 years, nothing's happened. They know the waters in the area. Our captain has 18 years of experience with us, 16 years of experience with us. So, and they have a very good record. So, again, this seems to be sort of almost a microstorm effect of something that no one was expecting to happen the way that it did.
All right, again, we are awaiting a press conference by emergency response officials and the state's governor, Mike Parson. When that happens, we're going to bring it to you live. Iowa is on the road to recovery today after tornadoes ravaged the state. Terrifying video shows the twisters barreling across the ground yesterday. Several people were injured. Homes and businesses across the area were destroyed. Iowa's governor and other top leaders are expected to survey the damage today. Dean Reynolds is in the hard-hit area of Marshalltown following the aftermath.
Residents here in Marshalltown had about a 45-minute warning that a tornado packing winds of about 100 miles an hour was approaching. And looking around town this morning, it's a wonder that no one here was seriously injured. The wind blew the spire right off the top of the clock tower. The tornado carved a path through Main Street in Marshalltown. Across central Iowa yesterday, people watched in amazement as violent tornadoes ripped through their towns.
Oh my God. Honey, get inside. There just went a house.
Wow. In Altoona, a pair of tornadoes tag-teamed the destruction. In Pella, this tornado destroyed parts of the Vermeer Corporation's manufacturing plant. 7 employees were injured. The company's president, Jason Andriga.
There is significant structural damage and personal property damage across the Vermeer campus.
Andriga, an Iowa native, was overcome with emotion.
So yeah, we certainly are going to rebuild, and we're going to come back stronger than ever.
As the dust settled elsewhere, residents emerged to evaluate the damage. Cars crushed, buildings destroyed, streets littered with debris.
I know a lot of business owners here on Main Street. The bike shop lost their third floor. It's a disaster.
Right now we're in the assessment stage, trying to block off critical streets that are damaged or have power lines down. So we're just out trying to protect people at this point.
Captain Brian Pattison of the Marshalltown Police Department.
I've lived in this town for 25 plus years and I've never seen anything like this before.
Now the cleanup here is well underway, but power is still out to this city of 27,000.
All right, as promised, we're taking you to Branson, Missouri, where police are giving us an update on last night's deadly duck boat sinking. Let's take a listen.
This is an ongoing investigation and will be somewhat limited on what we can answer. At this time, we have 13 confirmed fatalities. Missouri Highway Patrol dive team recovered 2 more bodies last night. Missouri Highway Patrol dive team is going back in the water this morning to try to recover the 4 that we still have missing. Again, I said it's been a long night and been a very trying night, and please keep all of our families involved and all of our first responder personnel in your thoughts and prayers.
Thank you very much. First of all, I want for all Missourians to know our thoughts and prayers are with the families and the victims in this tragic event that's occurred down here. Needless to say, it's the things that have occurred in the last 24 hours are heartfelt. It's a sad occasion, a lot of people involved, a lot of families involved with us down here on vacation trying to enjoy time, and ends up with an incident like this. So the one thing I want to thank all the responders that have been down here. I want to thank the sheriff. I want to thank the city of Branson. I want to thank the Missouri State Highway Patrol, their dive team who's still out in the water and will continue to be out in the water, and all the other resources. I know the Coast Guard's here. There's multiple agencies have come together to try to help with this tragic event, to bring some sort of conclusion to it. Needless to say, again, myself and the First Lady, our thoughts and prayers right now are with these family members that are here, going to have to deal with this tragedy. We as a state will do everything within my powers to make sure that they all have the resources here they need to come to a conclusion on this incident and to finish with the investigation of this tragedy, that we know what the outcome of it was and what those results will be. But right now, our main focus, all of us should be, and across this country, should be our thoughts and our prayers should be with the members that have been involved, the family members that are out there, the family members that are in the hospital, and for the families to get here safely, to be reunited with some of their members that are here. So with that, I'm going to turn it back over to the sheriff to let him answer some more questions. But the main thing I wanted to say this morning, the state of Missouri is going to do everything within our powers to make sure that we provide the resources needed to complete this. And 2, that I ask for all Missourians for their thoughts and their prayers for the families and victims of this incident. Thank you.
I also wanted to thank Hersham Family Properties and the Branson Bell. They have been over backwards helping us here, along with the Chateau. We've had an outpouring of love and support from all over the country, and we appreciate that. I'll dispel any rumors that the Hersham Family Properties does not own the ducks. I know I've seen that on some media outlets, but they do not own the ducks, so we can dispel that rumor right now. I will take a few questions.
Sheriff, you've been talking with them. You said that they've been cooperating. Do you have any idea of the cause yet?
Again, it's too early in the investigation. The Coast Guard is here investigating. NTSB will also have they'll be helping NTSB in an investigation. That will be up to for them to decide.
Sheriff, this was a very large storm system that came from the north, Hickory, Dade County, and through Greene County and down to Taney and Stone. Do you know whether the captain and staff checked the forecast before setting out on the lake?
I do not have any idea.
Do you know whether,
captain
Were
was one of
two
the
of the
survivors.
owners the survivors?
I'm sorry?
Were two of the owners survivors?
Owners?
Yes, two of the owners, the operators.
They were not owners. There was a captain and a driver that was on the boat.
Are they survivors?
The captain did survive.
Did the driver not survive?
No.
The driver perished. What can you tell us about the victims?
As far as
Age range. Age range.
right now, we're still working with families and making notifications. So at this time, I'm not giving that information out.
What time did the boat go in the water?
The first call came into our 911 center at 7:09 p.m.
The call that it was in trouble?
I'm sorry?
The call that the boat was in trouble? Was it 709?
All I know is the first call came into Central about the boat going underwater.
Do we know if they tried to retrieve any safety measures, either life jackets or anything of the sort?
I do not know.
Were the windows on the boat up?
What do you know about the life jackets to begin with? Were they on the boat? Where were they on the dock?
From what I understand, there was life jackets in the dock.
Was anybody wearing them?
I can't answer that question.
Did you have a chance to speak to any other survivors about that?
I have not.
Those that were found alive, were they wearing life jackets? And same for the victims?
Again, we're early in the investigation, and I don't have an answer to that.
Mr. Governor, would you like to see any changes to the laws for the life jackets when it relates to children, or just having them on there in case it's an option? What would you like to see changed?
Let me just make one comment. There are a lot of questions are being asked here. I think it's going to take time to know the details of everything that's occurred. The sheriff, the highway patrol, a lot of people involved trying to answer all the questions that you're asking this morning. It's going to take some time to really be able to answer those questions on that. We don't know what the status of all the events yet. That's still under investigation. Until that investigation is completed, I don't think it's my place or anyone's place to speculate all the things that could have happened or why they happened. I think it's important that we find out for sure exactly what events did occur and then be able to release that at some point. And that will happen eventually, but today it's just still early. And the sheriff and his people and all the people behind me that's been working, they've been up on this thing for a long time, and it's just a matter of bringing all these details together. At a point, that will happen.
Is the lake open to the public right now?
I'm sorry?
Is the lake open to the public right now?
Yes, Lake is open to the public. Yes, sir.
Just talk about this all happening instantaneously. Some of the heroism that happened there on the lake when this duck boat went down. People who stepped in and saved those people in the lake.
From what I understand, I had a Stone County deputy that was on the Branson Bell doing off-duty security. He was involved in the rescue. There was employees of the Branson Bell that jumped in and helped with rescue, and there was even passengers that was getting on the Branson Bell assisted in rescuing people.
To think that people did that. That's it.
Yes, that is very outstanding. And again, I'll tell everybody, if there's somebody out there with a video of this, please send it to our Stone County Sheriff's Office Facebook page. We would like to retrieve any videos we can of the incident that happened for our investigation and for NTSB and the Coast Guard's investigation.
I know you can't answer the question, but are you wondering whether it was an operator error, a design error in the vessel because of the weather? What are you wondering?
I can't answer that question.
Were the windows open or closed on the boat?
It's hard to tell. It looks, I can't tell if they're clear windows or if they were open. It's hard to tell in the videos we have seen so far.
Sheriff, is the company that owns the boat, are they still in operation today?
I can't answer that. I don't know.
Still cooperating with you all?
They were here last night throughout the whole night with us and cooperating anything we needed. So I know they've put out a press today too, but I haven't seen it, so I don't know. The Highway Patrol divers have located it. They know where it's at. It will be recovered probably later today.
Sheriff, we're hearing a Branson leader was on the boat at the time of the incident. Can you confirm or deny that?
I'm sorry?
A Branson leader was on the boat at the time?
I don't know anything about that.
What about the off-duty officer or off-duty deputy that was on the boat at the time?
What about it?
Is he a survivor?
Oh, yeah. He was on the Branson Bell, not on the duck. He was on the Branson Bell and jumped in and helped.
Was the boat upside down?
I'll take one more question. I believe, yes, I believe it's in about 80 foot of water. It landed, I believe, in about 40 foot of water and rolled down into 80 foot of water. No, it's on its wheels.
Where do you go from here, Sheriff?
This is, like I said, NTSB will be here shortly. the Coast Guard, the Highway Patrol. I mean, this is a huge joint investigation between all of us. We're just working together this time to try to figure out exactly what did happen and recovery mode for the bodies we're still missing.
Mr. Governor, we know the president tweeted about this situation probably an hour ago. What kind of conversation have you had with him?
You know, I have not spoken to the president directly. We do know he knows of the incident and has been briefed. Our staffs have been talking to one another. We were traveling in the southeast portion of the state yesterday evening late, so we've been in travel here the morning to get here. You know, I go back to what I said originally in these in my statement. Right now, it's just a time for thoughts and prayers. There's a lot of healing has to take place right now, and right now that's the story that we all should be facing. I know everybody wants to know the details, and all those details will come in time. But for right now, it's about really trying to protect the families, to unite the families, and to deal with the situations they're in. I think that's the most important thing. Thank you very much for being here today. Thank you.
I will say I know that you'll still be calling with questions. You can call my office and leave a message, and I will try to get back to you. I've been, of course, overwhelmed with all of you trying to call and get a hold of us. Jason Pace with the Missouri Highway Patrol is also available to answer any questions, so you can try to get in contact with us if you have more questions. But thank you for coming today.
Will you have another news conference this afternoon?
Not that we have scheduled yet, no.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you. One last thing, Sheriff. Have the family members been notified of all the victims?
All right, we've just been listening to, oh, let's listen in a little bit more. Maybe.
Can I get added?
A little last-minute stuff there, but we've been listening to officials in Branson bringing us up to speed about this really tragic duck boat accident. The video is just so disturbing when you see this duck boat trying to fight its way through these deep waters in Table Rock Lake. We want to bring in, there's the video right there. This is when it's obvious to observers that the duck boat is struggling. There was a second duck boat in the waters as well. That boat made it out, but this one did not, and it rapidly begins to sink right here. CBS News transportation correspondent Chris Van Cleve is in Washington now. Chris, you know, I'm watching this video. You can see how terrible the weather is. I know that's going to be one of the issues that's brought up. What do we know about when the NTSB will begin an investigation here?
Well, the NTSB has launched a GO team. They are en route to Branson. It is not one of the easier places to get to. There aren't a lot of direct flights, for example, so it's going to take them a few hours today to get on the ground. We expect them there by mid-afternoon Eastern time, and then we'll get some kind of an update, preliminary update, sometime late tonight. Although we probably won't learn a ton at this point as the investigators are still getting on scene. The lead investigator worked on the El Faro sinking, is a very experienced maritime investigator, and they're essentially going to look at three things here. They're going to look at the people involved, meaning the operator of the duck boat, and what was their decision-making process to stay on the water, what was their awareness of the weather and what was forecast. They're going to look at the machinery, the duck boat itself, and I'll give you some background about duck boats here in a second, but they're also going to look at the environment, in this case the weather. What hazards did the weather pose? How well was that storm forecast? Should someone have known that storm was going to get that severe as quickly as it did? And then they're also going to look at survivability factors. What about life jackets? We heard the owner of the duck boat say on CBS This Morning that life jackets were on board the duck boat, but people by law are not required to wear them in Missouri. And one of the criticisms of duck boats is the myriad of folks that regulate them. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration has jurisdiction when they're on the road, the Coast Guard on the water. Cities and states have their own regulations. Would life vests, if everybody had been wearing them, made a difference? Would they have been able to get out? There's an enclosure on the top of that duck boat. Could that have been an issue for people getting out? Those are all things the National Transportation Safety Board will start to look at here and will make recommendations. This is not the first deadly duck boat accident. There have been several in the last 20 years, some on land, some on water, and certainly these boats do do have their critics.
Yeah, no, you said you were going to talk a little bit about them. If you live in sort of a big city that has water around it, you probably have one of these duck boats touring tourists around. They're amphibious. They drive on the street and then they enter into the water. You're right, even though the owner of this duck boat said nothing like this has ever happened before, maybe not, you know, in Missouri, but it's definitely happened before in other cities. Sometimes mishaps on the water, sometimes mishaps on the land. Give us an idea of just how this vehicle operates.
Sure. So the duck boat was built and designed in the 1940s. It was a World War II piece of military equipment used to move troops and supplies both on the ground and on water. They have been modified, retrofitted, in some cases expanded in the years since. There's about 120 to 130 still operating, primarily as tour boats, trucks in the U.S. They're very popular. You see them in Boston, you see them in Washington, New York, Hawaii. And so that they are old equipment. One of the criticisms is on land, because the driver is 10 to 12 feet off the bow. They have a lot of blind spots, which has led to accidents. And then it's how are they maintained? We saw in 1999 the Hot Springs, Arkansas sinking of a duck boat where 13 people died. That was blamed on inadequate maintenance. 2010, a duck boat stalled on the Delaware River in Philadelphia and collided with a barge. That accident was blamed on the tugboat operator, tugboat mate that was pushing the barge, his inattention, but still 2 tourists died in that accident. In Seattle in 2015, you'll remember on land, a duck boat collided with a bus on a bridge after its axle broke. The NTSB found that there was a defect in the axle, and the axle manufacturer ended up paying about $1 million fine for not reporting that properly, but 5 people died in that accident. Boston in 2017 increased their regulations around duck boats, which are very popular in Boston, after 2 fatal accidents on land. There certainly have been accidents with these vehicles. They are unique ways to transport people, and their design dates back to World War II.
Right. Chris Van Cleve, thank you so much for bringing us up to speed. On the phone with me now is former National Transportation Safety Board Chairman and CBS News contributor Mark Rosenker. Okay, Mark, you can walk us through how this investigation is going to proceed moving forward. This is a large lake. We heard that once this boat sank, it sort of sank in water that was about 40 feet deep, and then it rolled into 80 foot deep water. So this is a very deep lake. So give us a sense of what's happening now. We know that there are 4 people still missing. This has become a recovery operation and no longer a rescue operation.
You're absolutely right. And unfortunately, when this many people die, of course, the NTSB will act as the lead agency here in being supported by the United States Coast Guard and the local authorities. They'll want to get that vessel up as quickly as they possibly can to begin their examination, their forensic examination, and they'll also be looking at maintenance. They'll be looking at survival factors. They'll be looking at the weather. Accidents are never one thing. They're a combination of events that lead to a catastrophic ending, and that's what we're seeing here.
I think anybody seeing the video would be stunned, particularly that video taken on a cell phone in the midst of the storm, would be stunned by the intensity of the storm. And the first question is, why were they in the water at all? Are the captains required, or anyone from the boat, are they required to check the forecast ahead of time?
Absolutely. They're working and looking at weather. They're working with dispatch at the facility where, in fact, these boats are being launched. Clearly, there are going to be a lot of questions asked about what did they know about the weather, when did they know about the weather, did they contact the vessel while it was out. Those questions are going to be answered, and, of course, many others as well, the certification of the captain and the crew. They're also going to be looking at the certification of the vessel itself. Clearly, maintenance is going to be looked at. Those records are going to have to be made available to the investigators. The investigator in charge is a very seasoned marine investigator, and he will be leading this team, which will include folks that are involved in looking at the vessel itself, and survival factors, of course, is going to be a major question that needs to be answered here as well.
Mark, you know, the forecast, according to at least officials, wind speeds were about 63 miles per hour at times on this lake. Do you know about the design of this vehicle, boat, what it was designed to sustain. Could it sustain 63-mile-per-hour wind gusts?
Well, these devices were actually created almost 77 years ago, nearly 8 decades, if you will. They were originally designed, as Chris said, by the United States Army to be a combination amphibious vehicle that enables it to operate on land and sea, so they would ferry things like ammunition, supplies, equipment from offshore ships to the beaches. So they were able to sustain ocean types of conditions. But again, when you get into the high gusts and wind and the way they have been redesigned to carry passengers, there'll be questions asked about their capabilities in these types of weather conditions.
Just one last question for you, Mark. Is there something equivalent to a black box on board a boat like this?
I don't believe that they have what we call a voyage data recorder. There's no requirement, I believe, for that type of vessel. But when they're able to pick this vessel back up, they're going to be able to see the condition of the vessel, to see if there was any damage to it, how the water may have gotten in. It looked like potentially it could have been swamped. We just don't know. Those questions will clearly be answered by the NTSB investigators. But it's going to take a long time. This is a major investigation, and typically a major investigation takes at least a year, and then sometimes 15 to 18 months.
All right, Mark Rosenker, former chairman of the NTSB, appreciate your time. And there you have it, the latest on this Missouri duck boat sinking. 13 people dead, 4 people still missing. We know that the captain of this boat survived, but the driver did not. This vehicle has both a captain and a driver. There were life vests on board, but the passengers on board not required by law to wear them. We're going to take a quick break. More news when we return.